After everything that happened, Octavia knew speaking up could change the way people saw her. What she didn't know was how quickly. Then the invitation appeared in her calendar. Object strategy meeting. The same kind of meeting she had once been left out of. Octavia stared at the screen for a moment. She had asked to be included where decisions about her work were being made. Now she was. But when Octavia walked into the conference room, she immediately felt the difference. People looked up, some smiled, some didn't. Octavia realized something. Getting the seat was one thing. What she did with it would determine whether she kept it. The meeting started, and Octavia didn't rush to prove herself. She listened. She watched who spoke, who interrupted, whose ideas received immediate attention, who people looked toward before making a decision. She was learning something that wasn't written in any employee handbook: how power moved through the room. Then the conversation reached the strategy recommendations, and Octavia heard it again. Her idea, her approach, her solution being explained by somebody else. Only this time, Octavia was sitting right there, and she wasn't going to disappear from her own work. Octavia could have interrupted. She could have immediately announced, "That's my idea." Instead, she waited. Then something unexpected happened. Her manager stopped the conversation. He looked directly at Octavia. "Octavia, you developed this portion. Why don't you walk us through it?" The room turned towards her. There it was, the opportunity she had been asking for. And suddenly Octavia understood. It wasn't enough to fight for recognition. You have to be prepared when recognition finally comes. Octavia closed her notebook, stood up, and took the floor. Octavia didn't simply repeat the recommendation. She explained the thinking behind it, the problem, the data, the strategy, the expected impact. Then the question started. One colleague challenged part of her recommendation, and this was another test. Octavia didn't become defensive. She listened. She explained her reasoning, and where the feedback made sense, she adjusted. The room wasn't simply seeing the woman whose idea had been overlooked anymore. They were seeing someone who understood how to lead the work. By the time Octavia finished, the energy had shifted, not because she demanded respect, because she demonstrated capability. After the meeting, the colleague who had previously presented Octavia's recommendation approached her. The conversation was uncomfortable before it started. Then he said, "I hope you didn't think I was trying to take credit for your work." Octavia could have made it personal. She didn't. She looked at him and said, "I can't speak to your intention. I can tell you the impact. Going forward, if my work is being presented, I need to be a part of the conversation. No yelling, no accusation, no pretending everything was okay just to keep the peace, a boundary." Octavia was learning that professionalism doesn't require silence, and protecting your career doesn't make you difficult. Before we go back to Octavia, what are you listening to while you're working, studying, writing, or building? Or just trying to make it through the workday? Come spend your day with me in the Miss Knowledge Soul Room. We're bringing neo soul, smooth jazz, and lo-fi beats together for good music, good energy, and grown conversations. Whether you're answering emails, working on your business, studying, writing your next chapter, or just need something good playing in the background, pull up. Miss Knowledge Soul Room. Good music, good energy, grown conversations. Join me on YouTube and let's work, vibe, build, and grow together. That evening, Octavia went back through everything: emails, documents, meeting notes, timelines, recommendations. Not because she wanted revenge, because Octavia had learned something important. Memory can't be challenged, documentation can be referenced. She wanted clarity about how work was moving through the team and how decisions were being made. Then she scheduled another conversation with her manager. This time, Octavia wasn't simply asking to be included. She was asking how her contributions could be positioned where they created the greatest impact. She wasn't just protecting an idea anymore. She was learning how to manage her career. Later, Octavia sat quietly, thinking about everything that had happened since joining the company. At her previous job, she believed hard work would eventually speak for itself. Now she understood something different. Her work could speak, but Octavia needed a voice too. Then another notification appeared, a new meeting invitation. Octavia opened it. Leadership strategy session. She read it twice. This wasn't another project update. This was a room where people discussed direction, growth, people strategy, and what comes next. Octavia had gotten noticed. Now the opportunity was getting bigger. The next morning, Octavia walked through the office differently. She noticed the looks. Some people were warm, some were cautious, some kept their distance. And for once, Octavia didn't waste energy trying to figure out whether everybody liked her. She wasn't there to win a popularity contest. She was there to do excellent work. Then she entered the leadership strategy session. This room felt different. The conversations weren't about completing today's task. They were about tomorrow, growth, people, innovation, direction, impact. Octavia listened and realized this is where careers and companies start changing. That night, Octavia opened her journal, but she wasn't writing about what went wrong anymore. She was writing about what came next, the kind of leader she wanted to become, the impact she wanted to make, the opportunities she wanted to create, not only for herself, but eventually for other people walking into rooms where they had been overlooked. Her voice had opened the door. Now Octavia was preparing herself to walk through it. And days later, there she was, standing at the front of the room. This time, she wasn't waiting for someone else to explain her ideas. She was leading the conversation. Her strategy was focused. Her voice carried weight. And the room that once made her question whether she belonged was now watching her lead. Octavia had said her name in the room, and now they were learning everything that came with it. That evening, Octavia thought about how quickly things had shifted. Not long ago, her work was entering rooms without her. Now her presence was being requested. But Octavia wasn't celebrating simply because she had received an invitation. She understood the responsibility attached to it. Another leadership invitation appeared. This time she didn't wonder, do I belong there? The question was different now. What am I going to contribute when I get there? Octavia smiled because she finally understood. Once you say your name in the room, be prepared to show them what comes with it. And Octavia, she's just getting started. To be continued.